Hey, what's happening? So I'm back solo. Thanks for everyone who watched the video that did for the 90k Q&A with misses last week. Brilliantly received. If you've not watched it, do go and watch it. It was good fun. But I'm back talking football and talking Liverpool as well, because that is my bread and butter, ultimately. And yeah, look, pre-season's underway. We now know the transfer window is open. Teams are making signings, and Liverpool are, but they aren't. We've made two transfers. There's Sepp Vandenberg, the genuine giant, 17-year-old Dutch centre-half, and Harvey Elliott, who is I think he's the Premier League's youngest ever player, having made his debut at like 15 or something for Fulham. He was spotted just chilling around in the club shop the other day, apparently with his mighty man bun. Fine, I'm down for all of those kind of transfers. Liverpool securing the next ... is exactly the transfer model that Liverpool should be following, because they have crafted a world where that is the next step. Basically, when you've got an amazing first 11, you've got to start planning for the future. And the beauty of Liverpool compared to a lot of the biggest rivals in European football is that our squad is absolutely prime age right now. You've got a bunch of guys who've still got 2 or 3 seasons at the absolute peak of their powers, and you've got a generation who are a little bit younger who are just starting to enter into that as well. So Liverpool's squad is very, very well balanced in terms of talent and age at the moment, but it's the summer, teams are making transfers, and we want Liverpool to make transfers as well. Of course we do, because it's one of the most fun parts of football. Look, if I could play Football Manager / Champ Manager and only do the summer bits, I would. I'd do it every single year. I get a new game, I do the summer bits, I buy me players, and then the football starts and I realise this is crap, because this is where all the excitement and all the dreams and all that come crashing down around my own ears, because I'm fucking terrible at those games. But I do know how to buy players, because everyone does, because it's dead easy. Just as a little interlude before I dive into it, this video is brought to you by OneFootball. Go and download the app. It is great, but it's going to give you all of your Liverpool news. Look, it's even got the pre-season stuff, which you can see perfectly there. There we go. Look at that. Liverpool's warm-up games, including the one against Bradford City there. So get your pre-season news, views and opinions right on the OneFootball app. I'll put a link in the description underneath. Please do download it. It helps make me look really good, and you want to make me look good, right? Of course you do. Of course you do. So I had a little think about what I think Liverpool need to do this summer, and let's be honest, I don't think it's loads. I don't think there's loads of business, and I think there's naturally a clamouring to see that Liverpool do. And the expression I keep hearing is like improving from a position of strength. And I think there's this logic, and it's perfectly sound logic. Liverpool won the European Cup, so they are such an enticing destination, more so than they've been for a very, very long time. Even a year on, it's 2 finals consecutively they've made it to now. But having that big pot and being able to show all those pictures of the parade as you go around Liverpool and the hundreds of thousands of people celebrating, that is a big, big selling point for anyone wanting to come to the club. You get to win things, and you are basically beloved forever when you do win more things for that football club. So fine, there's a few key areas that Liverpool do need to strengthen, and if money was no object and life was a computer game, here's what I would do. So here's what I'll probably do. So when I get PES eFootball 2020, or I get FIFA 20 or whatever it's called, or I get Football Manager 2020, whatever it's called, I'd be getting another goalkeeper in. I'd be getting a backup left back. I would probably go and get a goal scoring, attacking midfielder, and I would get another wide goal scoring pacey winger. So there's 4 signings that I would go out and make. If money was an object, I didn't have to worry about balancing the squad and squad harmony and growth of young players and what have you. However, the reality of Liverpool's situation in the real world is slightly different to that. We understand this because we are in a tricky situation. It's very difficult to go out and buy backup players. In fact, it's very difficult to buy players for the first team, because they've got to be better than what we've got. And bearing in mind, this is a team that got 97 points in the league and won the European Cup, back-to-back Champions League finals. I've said it before, I'm going to continue to say it forever and ever and ever, because it's fucking awesome. But this Liverpool side is very, very good. It is very, very good. I don't think there's a better front three in world football. You could make a case for there being comparable front threes. I mean, look, Griezmann being added to Barcelona is not going to make that a weaker proposition in any way, shape or form. And again, in pure computer game terms, maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the one for you. But, you're talking such fine margins that there's no point in really arguing the toss. Liverpool's front three is phenomenal, and it's going to be very difficult to displace that. And that is obviously the key issue that we're going to have. we only spent, 30 million? Only 30 million on Mané, around the same on Firmino, a little bit more on Mohamed Salah. There's a couple of things that Liverpool have to face up to now. One of those being, if you get a phone call from Liverpool's director of football, Michael Edwards, and you're a chairman of a football club, and he says, I'm quite interested in one of your players. This guy. You'd be thinking, him? Interesting, right? And your response would be one of two things. It would be double the price that I think he's worth, or it would be, nah, stick it up your hoop, Michael Edwards, because if you think he's a good player and you've got a phenomenal track record of buying players and making them world class, then maybe we should just keep hold of this guy and make him world class ourselves. So that's obviously a real issue that Liverpool are facing when you get to that kind of level. When you get to that level that Liverpool are at now or have returned to, without having the bottomless funds of a Man City or a PSG, etc. That's one of the biggest hurdles Liverpool are going to have to overcome. Let's work it through. Goalkeeper. I think you can do better than Mignolet, but I don't think, because we've got Alisson. He's the best goalie in the world. I just don't know that you can do better than Mignolet as a backup goalkeeper, because how do you turn around to someone? Because if Mignolet is good enough to play for he's definitely capable of playing for 14, I reckon, of the Premier League teams. And I think he'd play for the vast majority of teams in Serie A, in La Liga, in the Bundesliga. He would. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. So if you're buying someone who's better than Mignolet, how's he going to come in and be a backup? It's very, very difficult is what I'm saying. So you need to go and buy a guy who's right at the tail end of his career, who carries the same level of professionalism, but doesn't have the expectation he's going to play every week. And I think that's a very small profile of players. You're looking at like Iker Casillas, Pepe Reina, and Gigi Buffon. Iker Casillas, no one knows what his health issues are like. Pepe Reina, I don't know, has he signed for someone else recently? I really don't know. And Buffon, you're talking, like 200 grand a week probably for him to play, in the League Cup. If you've got the money, guys, I don't think Liverpool have got that kind of money. So, maybe the goalkeeping situation isn't one that needs to be touched this season. So I'd kind of park that. Left back, backup left back. How are you going to replace Andy Robertson? Now, I keep hearing this. Another thing that you'll see here in comments on social media and what have you. Like, what happens if Robertson gets injured? What happens if Messi gets injured? You've got to try and create situations where you do have cover, but it's very difficult it's going to be very difficult to get a top quality left back. How do you turn to a left back and say, we want you to play for Liverpool, really, we love you, we think you are amazing, you are the bee's knees, mate, we think you are the future of football. You're probably going to play about 3 games next season, I'll be honest, because Andy Robertson, and I'll also be honest, probably the season after that, and that. I'll be honest, you're probably not going to get much of a game for us, because Andy Robertson's the best left back in world football. So I look at what Liverpool have got available to them, and let's use Fabian Delph as a good example of this. Man City have just recorded record points tallies in winning the league in back-to-back seasons, and they've largely done it with Fabian Delph at left back. Now, that's not to say that you can be disrespect the left back position, quite the opposite. It's a massive compliment. You've got to be a very good footballer, a general, you've basically got to be a midfielder to play fullback, and Liverpool have got loads of players capable of doing that, I think. So whilst it would be fine to go and buy someone to do that, I think for another season with James Milner and with a whole host of, you've got a couple of the younger lads coming through. We're seeing Larouci's impressing in pre-season thus far. Adam Lewis looks decent, maybe a bit raw, but again, you've got that as the tier below. Milner can step in if needs be, and let's be honest, you could play Gini Wijnaldum there if you had to. You could play Gomez there if you had to. God, you could literally play Henderson, Wijnaldum, Oxlade-Chamberlain. You could play a whole host of players there if you needed to for a spell of games to give Andy Robertson a bit of a rest. So not a priority for me. Attacking midfield, yeah, still. The fact that we never signed Nabil Fekir, it still says to me that we Liverpool could do with that. But at the moment, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain back again. This is it's a bit of a, it's used as a bit of like an insulting comment somehow when people say, oh, he's like a new signing. we again got 97 points and won the European Cup without Oxlade-Chamberlain. So having him available to him is effectively adding a player to a side that did that last season. And with Jordan Henderson's emergence as more of a talent playing further up the pitch, I think we're probably okay. But if you could get someone who's a worldie, someone who's going to get you 15 goals a season from that position, then I would consider going heavy on that player. But, and I'll come to that in a second. And then you get into the front three. I think with Origi, signed a new contract, great. An absolutely outstanding backup with his versatility and his eye for goal as well. Ryan Brewster as an understudy beyond all that as well, which is a very, very, very exciting talent. This is the key one for me. And it's very difficult to buy a player for this position because, again, you're telling a player, really, you're going to be understudy to Sadio Mané and Mohamed Salah, who, let's be honest, are probably the best left winger and the best right winger in world football at the moment. Again, fine margins, split hairs all you want, but there's no one better than them in those positions. Joint top goal scorers in the Premier League last season, playing predominantly from wide positions, and certainly predominantly in Mané's case. So, but I do think we've got what Liverpool need to do and need to go big on this summer, if it's possible, is I would go big on one more player for that front three. Someone who can play left and right, someone who's got an eye for goal and bags of pace and is a little bit further developed, because I like Ryan Kent, I like Harry Wilson, and I like the looks of Bobby Duncan and who knows, maybe Paul Glatzel or what have you. But to solidify from this position of strength, do what Man City did last season. They went out and they bought Riyad Mahrez. They went and spent £50 million on a lad to just go in rotation. A Premier League winner, a guy who'd scored 15, 20 odd Premier League goals, tons of assists along the way. Absolutely ready-made player. Doesn't need loads of training. Isn't one for the future. He's just one more for now. That's, for me, what Liverpool are desperately lacking, and we got away with it, I think, a little bit last season. Look, you've got Shaqiri there. Maybe it's him. Maybe he does step up in a more advanced front three role this season. I don't know. I don't feel like he is that, but he could be. I just look at those lads and I don't think Wilson's quite there. I don't think Wilson's fast enough, and I don't think Kent is clinical enough. So it does feel like we are lacking that one player there, and I don't know who that is. Nicolas Pepe's been constantly denied, and then you see rumours saying it is him. The one that I am seeing floating around is Felipe Coutinho. Morally, I'd have nothing to do with him. And he's a lovely lad. He's a really lovely guy. But just in terms of how we treated Liverpool, I wouldn't want him back. But in terms of his return and in terms of the things that we like, getting someone who can score goals from midfield and can play from the wide positions and score goals, that lad was on for a world-class season when he left Liverpool. He'd have scored 20-plus goals that season in a front three that largely all got around that figure as well. If you could get him back, taking my heart and taking the emotion out of it, if you just told me there's a player available for like 70, let's say it's just Liverpool cancel the money owed to them by Barcelona for the transfer, so that's like 80 odd million reportedly. For £80 million, you can get a guy who's going to score you 25 goals, and he can play in 2 or 3 positions in your front three and attack and midfield, and he's already integrated in terms of he knows the squad, he knows the style of play, he knows all the system, and he's right now prime age. If his name wasn't Felipe Coutinho, I'd be like, bang, shell out all the money, go and make that happen right now. Because it is Phil Coutinho, it could have a damaging impact on morale because of what an arsehole he was and how Klopp used it to galvanise the troops in the Champions League run the season before. But it comes down to it, if they think they could get a tune out of him, we think it wouldn't upset. If you could take that away and that wasn't really an issue, I probably would have Coutinho back. And I think that would basically be exactly what Liverpool need to kick on and overhaul Man City this season. But anyway, it's just my opinion on what I think Liverpool need to do. If you've got opinions, let me know them in the comments below. It's a mad summer. I'm so pleased with the young players coming in, and I think Liverpool need to be doing a bit more of that, because when you look at the fees going for like Matthias de Ligt and the Mbappes of this world, you're better off getting them a stage before and training them up, as far as I'm concerned. But there you go. Listen, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed or agreed with anything that I said, or even disagreed, because, you know, likes. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. That was dead good. And if you want to watch the video that I did with my wife, the 90k Q&A, do get involved with all that as well. Other than that, thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful week and summer. See you all soon. Ta-da.